morning. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm glad that you've given me a chance to present a little bit about our supply chain improvement project that we put together for you. We might as well just jump right in. First, you may ask, what's wrong with what we have? And so I'd like to explain that a little bit based on my experience working in our clinics, our local offices. A few phrases up here. Why don't we ever have what I need? When is our next order? I can't do a root canal without it. Who in the world ordered all of these? We already had 10 boxes, and we have the budget for it, so we might as well order it. These are some common phrases we hear, and they're a result of big offices not having a big enough budget, small offices having too big of a budget, supplies not being there when we need them, basically a broken supply chain process. And really, this impacts a lot of things and a lot of people. It impacts all of us, all of you sitting here, from our Vice President of Operations, Regional Vice Presidents, District Managers, clinic teams, and really all of our stakeholders are impacted by this. And it impacts us in several different ways. Some of our offices order way too much. They don't need it. This is obviously increasing our expenses. Other offices have shortages of supplies. This prevents them from providing treatment and ultimately reduces revenue. Poor patient experience, patients are rescheduled, patients have to wait because we don't have things. We're running to another office to get them, we're waiting for UPS to drop off a shipment before we can start. And then ultimately it just negatively impacts our bottom line. Anytime we're causing patients to be unhappy or reducing revenues, all of it impacts our bottom line. Fortunately, we've put together a solution, a fairly simple, straightforward solution that we feel like we can roll out fairly quickly, and it'll completely transform and fix this process. And really, it'll do quite a bit of good for us. So the solution is two parts. The first part involves designing and introducing an office-level supply tracking. This system is going to allow offices to track their supplies on a daily basis. It's also going to allow them to take weekly inventories so we can monitor supplies and reduce shrinkage. Our procurement department is now going to be placing all the orders for the offices rather than having floor supervisors spending hours guessing and piecing together orders based on what they think they might need. The procurement department is going to use historical information and current data based on what the office has in inventory, what they've used over the last couple of weeks to place those orders. It's going to reduce excessive ordering and it's going to prevent shortages by having what we need when we need it. The overall process will be streamlined. It's going to reduce the work at the office level for our floor supervisors and managers, and it's going to allow the procurement department to place larger orders, which will allow us to receive even bigger discounts than we're receiving now from our suppliers. The second part of the solution involves getting our management teams really engaged and bought into the process. Often they ask, what's in it for me? Well, this is what part 2 is all about. So we're going to incorporate expense control into all of our manager level bonuses. That's from you all the way down to our office managers and floor supervisors. And then we're going to add an inventory control target, as I mentioned, to the floor supervisors bonus programs. So we'll incorporate a what's in it for me at all levels to really help encourage early adoption, excitement, and really to get people's buy-in in this project. Ultimately, we want to begin immediately, assuming that you all give us the approval today. The business intelligence and IT team will begin creating the inventory management and order tool, and our compensation committee will begin the adjustments to the current bonus programs. And they will both spend the next 60 to 90 days working on these pieces. Once they've completed that, the training department will create training on our new tool, create training on the new tools that we're having created, and then they'll also put together presentations outlining the changes to the bonus systems for the different positions. From there, we will move on. We will return here with this group. We'll present the new tool, the inventory management and order process tools, and also the training material to this group. And we'll get your feedback, we'll make adjustments as necessary, and once we receive your approval, Then we'll begin our pilot program. We're going to use a handful of offices, at least one in each region, to pilot the program, and then also our procurement department. So we'll present the project to them. We'll certainly present all of the benefits to them, and then we'll put them through our training program, both to get feedback about the training program and obviously to train them so that they can begin to use the new tools and systems. Excuse me. The pilot period will continue for anywhere from 90 to 120 days, just depending on the adjustments that need to be made so that we can really fine-tune it and perfect it before we begin the rollout. The biggest part of our rollout is going to be using these pilot offices, using our managers and our floor supervisors as champions to really share their experiences with the project, with the offices surrounding them. We'll use them on our conference calls and webinars and things like that to really share how it's benefited them, how it's made their lives easier, and even to talk about the bonus and how that's benefited them as they've really jumped on this project and taken to it. Next is obviously a big part of this rolling out a new system organization-wide like this is just getting the word out. So immediately following your approval, we'll begin that with some highlights and kind of a spotlight on the project in our newsletter. We'll continue that throughout, giving progress updates, things like that, timeframes. We'll use in-person trainings and presentations as we get closer to rolling out some of the aspects of the project. During the pilot period and beyond, we'll use focus groups to get feedback on the project. Webinars, conference calls as we start to disseminate some of the details, and then certainly throughout we'll use anonymous feedback forms so that we can get real feedback, without people being worried as to who's reading their comments and their ideas and suggestions and thoughts. And then ultimately, the most important part of any project is going to be, did it work? And so we're absolutely going to measure our success. We will measure expenses. We're going to start measuring them now, tracking. And then once we implement the project, we will compare. We'll be able to tell what we've done from now, through, and we expect to notice a significant improvement or reduction in our expenses. We will perform audits of our offices to ensure that they're using the inventory tracking tools. They're going to be performing weekly audits in their office themselves, and so we want to make sure that their numbers in the system match with what they actually have in the office. So we'll do periodic audits to ensure compliance. We expect to see increase in production, so we'll certainly compare those results due to we're eliminating shortages, and then obviously improve patient satisfaction scores as we mentioned earlier. Patients won't have to wait, they won't be turned away. We'll have what we need when we need it to be able to address their concerns. We're really excited about this project. We think it can bring a huge value to the organization, reducing expenses, increasing revenues and patient satisfaction scores, and overall just providing a better experience for both our stakeholders and our patients. Do you have any questions?